guy named Vince. He was a salesperson for the product ShamWow. He claimed that the ShamWow was amazing and could absorb large amounts of liquid. He was required to sell 100 of these ShamWows every week. Vince was having some trouble selling all of those ShamWows, so he decided he would go to a hotel to try and sell them. So the next day, Vince showed up at the Hilton Hotel. Mr. Hilton asked what he was doing here, and Vince told him that he wanted Mr. Hilton to buy his ShamWows. Mr. Hilton told Vince that he didn't like trying new products, and he thought that the ShamWows sounded much like a towel. Vince told Mr. Hilton that the ShamWows were way more than just a towel. Vince knew Mr. Hilton was smart, and Vince would have to pull some tricks to make Mr. Hilton buy the ShamWows. Vince told Mr. Hilton that he wanted to demonstrate just how awesome the ShamWows were. Mr. Hilton agreed to lend some of his time to see just how absorbent they were. Vince pulled out a piece of carpet and placed it on the floor. Vince then took a liter of soda and poured it all over the carpet. Mr. Hilton gasped. Vince said that his ShamWow could remove all the soda. Mr. Hilton gasped again. Vince placed the ShamWow on the carpet and told Mr. Hilton to wait for 1 minute. Vince then asked Mr. Hilton if he could have something to drink since he poured his soda onto the carpet. Mr. Hilton went over to go tell one of his maids to get Vince a soda. When he got back, Vince removed the ShamWow and Mr. Hilton was shocked. The carpet was dry and there was no sign of soda ever being there. Mr. Hilton told Vince that he would buy 50 ShamWows. Vince happily accepted the money and gave Mr. Hilton the ShamWows. The next day, Mr. Hilton wanted to show his daughter just how amazing the ShamWow was. He poured his wine onto his carpet and put the ShamWow on top of the carpet. After 1 minute had passed, he lifted the ShamWow and said, "Ta-da!" Mr. Hilton's daughter looked confused. She said she didn't understand why he had wasted good wine on the carpet. Mr. Hilton looked down and he gasped. There was still wine on his carpet and it had left a big stain. Mr. Hilton had paid Vince for a bunch of ShamWows that didn't do anything. It turns out that whenever Mr. Hilton had left to tell his maid to get a drink for Vince, Vince had switched the wet carpet out with new carpet. Just as Vince had tricked Mr. Hilton, the cannon in the yeoman's tail had tricked the priest. The priest paid the cannon for his secret in turning wood into silver, just as Mr. Hilton had paid Vince for his secret in absorbing liquid. However, both secrets turned out to be a fraud.